Okay, so the first system we're going to look at is called an in-vessel system. The one on the left is called a Jora. The one on the right is your typical sort of conical in-vessel system. They all are pretty much this kind of system. This one is a manufactured one. This one on the right, you can download the plans for building that and constructing it. The Jora on the left is not powered, the one on the right, and usually the larger in-vessel systems do require some kind of power. Some of them you can turn by hand with the hand crate. So in-vessel systems, you can build your own. You can take a barrel, you can drill holes in it. I'm sure a lot of you have seen those kind of systems. The Jora will cost about, I think, about $600. I think they are at the current rate. That's a large one, and that's through a CAV discount. Natasha and I have worked with a lot of these systems all throughout the Northeast. They're a very good system for composting food scraps. The benefit of the in-vessel systems for food scrap composting is it doesn't require as much carbon. You put it in there, it gets very hot rapidly because of the turning, and it's got lots of air. So we all know that compost requires air, and these systems are really good for adding in air. They also are good for odor control. And also vermin control. So if you're concerned about any kind of wildlife or dogs or what have you, they're very low labor, so you don't have to worry so much about that. It's more of a cost factor when you're doing a manufactured one. See, they are not weather sensitive, and that's about it on the in-vessels.
Athena, are you okay with taking some
Sure.
questions as we go?
Yeah.
Stephanie, you raised your hand.
I did. Thanks for taking my question. I was wondering if you have any approximate volumes for each of these systems pictured. While I understand there are other types of systems, I just wanted a little sense of scale, like how much are we contributing, how many cubic yards?
Sure. So I know for the Jora, in the camps that I worked with, they were putting in, one of the camp was generating about 3 to 5, about 5-gallon buckets a day. So, and they were putting all of those into one Jora, then they'd add like several cups of wood shavings over that and then stir it up and they'd let it sit. And then they had 8 Joras all together. By the end of the camp season, they had generated about 3,000 gallons of food scraps, or about 600 pounds of food scraps. So the goal with the Joras or any in-vessel, and I can't really tell you about the larger in-vessels, but I could certainly get that information. But the Joras, they decompose materials very rapidly. So you fill up the left one or one side all the way up, you close it down, and then by the time that you fill up the right side, then you fill all of that up and the left side is ready to churn out and can be put into a pile to finish decomposing and composting. But by the time you do that, all the food scraps are gone, so you don't have to worry about odors. And the active phase of composting is completed by that time. You just let it sit to do the second phase of composting and then curing.